Welcome to my video summary of a clean recoat and refurbishing project that I took on not long ago. In many respects, this is a very typical clean and recoat project, but there are some twists which I'll get into later. But as you can see from these photographs, the floors had started to deteriorate. They'd started losing finish from just normal wear, normal use. They didn't have a lot of finish on it to begin with. They'd only been refinished within the past 10, 15 years. But it started coming off mainly from use and the cleaning products that were used to keep the floor looking good. This is a wear pattern right outside the kitchen. Very light look from just simple, you know, people walking through the room. When we step into the kitchen, we see a floor that is showing color degradation, mainly because food, beverages, cleaning products have degraded the color. When you looked underneath the toe kick under the counter, at the top of the photograph, you see what the original look had been like, and everything below that is what it had deteriorated to from the various cleaning products. Now, here's the twist. We started seeing a lot of damage from masking tape being put on floors to hold things in place, sometimes with paper while the houses were being painted. And when the tape is removed, they pull it up, and up with the tape comes the old finish. And this kind of damage just really unnerves homeowners. It was, somebody had good intentions, but the end result is you've got very noticeable damage to the floor. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is the tape is pulling up a thin layer of finish. The layer of finish has its own color, separate from the stain that was put down on the wood. So it was aged, it was ambered, and when you pull up the tape, you're pulling up the color in the finish when you're pulling up the finish as well. And you're also pulling up a thin layer of finish. So you can see here and in the next shot that in and of itself creates its own issue. So you have two things going on here. You have the thickness of the finish being pulled up and removed, and you also have the color in the old finish. So we started the cleaning in the kitchen. I use synthetic pads and chemicals just to remove the contaminants. These are made by manufacturers of coatings. And the process, of course, I call it clean and recoat. But it does a really good job of removing the surface contaminants. And the synthetic pads also do an excellent job of helping to force off that finish that is flaking off, or like I say, sunburned skin. It kind of forces that off and you get down to the bare wood. Now you can see the lightness where the wear pattern has gotten a little worse. That's because the flaking finish has come off, and it's very, very noticeable. So we need to do something to bring that color in line, and the way I do that is by making a very light application of a stain. And in this case, I took the approximate color of the original stain and I diluted it. You don't want to go back with a full strength stain because you're not going to get good results with that. And I do it by hand around the perimeter of the room and then with a buffer in the middle of the room. All right, let's get into the before after shots. Here's what the floor looked like after we'd cleaned it and prepped it. And then when we made a light application of a stain on it, and then 2 applications of the waterborne urethane, we get a nice blending that is much, much more attractive. Let's go back to the original condition of the kitchen floor, and you saw how we were cleaning it, and this is what it looked like afterwards. I should also point out that where we do have noticeably high traffic patterns in kitchens, doorways, I always make additional applications to get a buildup so that we get more protection in those areas. So overall, we've got a really nice looking attractive floor and one that's going to be very easy to maintain. But let's go back to that damage. And this location right here, you can see the damage to the finish, the old finish. Now notice that I took a before shot and after shot in the exact same location. And now you can see that we've had a really nice results in blending that in. Here again, you're able to see the damage to the floor. And one thing I always make sure is I never ever tell the homeowner that we're going to get a perfect blend. You can usually see some light outlines, but all in all, a much better blend than you had before. And you can see that there's some little bit of disparity here. You've got that damage right in the middle of the doorway, and then if you look carefully, you can see a slight difference in color, but all in all, it blended in very, very nicely. Very pleased with that. The overall effect of the clean and recoat is that the colors of the floor that have been hidden under, finish that had been worn start to come back out. You get a lot of uniformity and you're able to blend in worn areas. The other big benefit to clean and recoat is it's clean, it's environmentally responsible, and it's quick. This was done in a couple of days, and the homeowners are very pleased with it. You also have extended the life of this floor for many decades, and it's also, as I said earlier, it is a relatively simple product to take care of and maintain, and it can be done for reasonable amounts of money. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this, and I hope you'll consider Clean and Recoat for your own floors. Take care.